안녕하세요. 예스유학입니다. 명문 보딩스쿨 하면 빼놓을 수 없는 학교죠. 바로 뉴저지주에 위치한 로렌스빌 스쿨인데요. 프린스턴 대학교와 불과 10분 거리에 위치해 있어 프린스턴 예비학교라고도 불리는 로렌스빌. 로렌스빌의 입학 담당자가 예스유학과 함께 직접 학교를 소개하는 특별한 시간이 있었는데요. 로렌스빌은 어떤 곳이고 어떤 학생을 찾고 있을까요? 직접 확인해보세요.
My name is Tucker Mizhirga. I work here in admissions at the Lawrenceville School. I'm thrilled to join you this morning and talk a little bit about this beautiful campus that I get to call home. I think at Lawrenceville, we're charged with producing people that are going to go off and be great global citizens. And so as you can see here, I think the final sentence of our mission is what resonates the most, which is to inspire the best in each to seek the best for all. I think it's always really important to know where a school is. And our motto here at Lawrenceville is that we're in the middle of somewhere. I grew up in a pretty rural part of Massachusetts. Some would say it's in the middle of nowhere. Here, I think at Lawrenceville, we are definitely in the middle of somewhere. As you can see here from this lovely map, we are, really easy to get to, especially if you're coming from an international market like Korea. So, Princeton, New Jersey is all of 5 minutes away. Philadelphia is an hour. And New York City, about an hour 10, depending on the mode of transportation. So just a couple of numbers here to begin with. Typically, in a given year, we'll enroll anywhere from 810 to 820 students. And generally, about 70 to 75% of our students are boarding students. So the vast majority of our children live right here on campus. Day students, there's a smaller number, and they tend to live within a 30-minute radius. We have students from 38 states, 33 countries. About 16% of our population is international. We have an 8 to 1 student to teacher ratio, really small class sizes, where students are known, they're engaged. There's no hiding in the back row. We'll talk more about that later. And then diversity. We aim to enroll as diverse a group as possible. Slightly more males than females, but it's an incredibly diverse blend of people from all over the world, different parts of the country. So here at Lawrenceville, we have a house system, and it is very Harry Potterish, as it may seem. But when I first got here, I asked someone said houses, and I used the word dorm interchangeably. And I was very quickly corrected, because here at Lawrenceville, it's not a dorm, it's a house. You really genuinely do belong to that house, and you'll be in the house for 2 years. Most alums, when you meet them, one of the first questions they'll ask is what house were you in? And that's, the immediate tie among all Lawrenceville grads. As you can see here, these are some shots of, I think they really do a great job of showing what house spirit looks like. So these are from our House Olympics. As you can see, every house has a different flag, color. This is the kickoff event of our school year, and it does a really great job of ingratiating new students into their new house. The second biggest differentiating piece of how we go about learning here at Lawrenceville is the Harkness learning method. So the why behind it. One, when you're engaged in Harkness learning, the material tends to stay with students longer. So you physically retain the information longer. But the second thing is that for the vast majority of students, it's the skills that they take with them that's the biggest output of this learning. And it's those skills, the listening, the learning, the thinking critically, the speaking articulately, responding and respecting different opinions. Those are the skills that you're going to take with you for life. And, the vast majority of professions that people will go into, you're going to be tasked with working in a small group to come up with a solution. And that's what Harkness learning is every single day in our classrooms. So we have nine different genres of classes here on campus. Some are quite common, obviously English, history, math. But I think one of the things that we don't talk a lot about is our interdisciplinary courses. which I think are really fascinating. For example, you may take a class, bioethics, for example, right? It's part of kind of housed within the religion and philosophy department, but also within the science department. And you're looking at a lot of really cool issues that fall within that. Or, for example, there's a Lewis and Clark class where part of the class is learning the history of Lewis and Clark's westward journey to the west coast of the United States. But you're also learning how to build a boat that they would have used during that time. So there's an engineering component to that as well. So I think classes like that, I'm a little jealous myself. I didn't get to take, I took very standard, classes that I would not have taken at a place like Lawrenceville. So I just want to give you a look at our class schedule. This is new this year. I've worked at Lawrenceville for 5 years now, and starting in COVID was a really interesting time because it seemed like a new schedule every week. But this is the new schedule that we've run this year. I think what's great about it is that classes are longer, which means there are fewer per day, which means less wasted time. You're not walking to a number of different classes. As you can see here, we've built out large amounts of time, an hour, 40 minutes of community and lunchtime every day. I think we only have about 3 or 4 Saturday classes per trimester. And then if we do have a half day on Saturday, we have a half day on Wednesday. The one thing I want to just talk a little bit about is this block called consultation. That's after the class or the first class period. Consultation is an opportunity where all of your teachers are in their classroom during that time. So if you want to meet with a teacher to get ahead on an essay, or you need help understanding a concept in math, your teachers are in their classroom and they're willing and able to meet with you during that time. Now, I think a lot of parents, they get really nervous about the college process, which is, I always find this slide really interesting because parents at this time are actually navigating their high school search process. So it's probably relevant for a lot of you. I think our college counseling office does a fantastic job of connecting with families to help find a great place for their young child to go. All of our college counselors have worked at some point in a college admissions office. So they're very knowledgeable about the other side of that table. And they start that process of working with a student about halfway through their junior year. And they meet quite frequently with students to help them understand the process and the best way to go about that. Now, my hope here is just to sort of walk you through a couple different buildings that we have on campus very quickly here. So the first building I want to talk about is our Kirby Performing Arts Center. And so this is where we do school meeting. This is where we have all of our performances, musicals. This is the Bunn Library. This is obviously where we keep all the books. And so I think what's great about the library is it's sort of a social hub for evening studying. It's a great place where you can work on group projects. You can, there's a number of different meeting spaces in there for clubs or different groups. Our Math and Science Center, it sits right in the middle of campus. I think what's really nice about this is that a lot of the classrooms, they'll have a Harkness table there. On the back of it will be a lab attached to it. So I think it's really cool where, walking the halls, you can see students meeting with their teachers and then kind of scurrying back to the classroom to do the lab. Father's Building, or Pop Hall, is where our Dean of Students office is. It's also home to the language here on campus, foreign and modern languages. And so it's a really popular place. I don't know if I have the picture here, but there's a statue in the middle of Pop Hall, and it's sort of urban legend or campus superstition, if you will, to rub the foot of the statue as you walk by to give yourself good luck on an exam. So as you can see, I wish I had a picture of this statue, but the foot is completely rubbed gold, but the rest of the statue is brown, but it's a really interesting thing. The Gress Center for Art and Design, or GCAD as we call it here, is our newest building on campus. As a history major that can barely turn my computer on and off, on a daily basis. The things that I see made and done in this building blow my mind. So the quote, if you will, here is that if you can make it, you can make it here. The design lab is incredible. We have a sort of a college level wood shop that's attached to it. It's a really cool space. And I'm always continually impressed by the things that I see our students do in this space. I think one of the greatest things you can do in your time here at Lawrenceville is be a part of a team. Now, whether that is a varsity team, a JV team, thirds team, intramural team, I think, all the wonderful lessons that you learn in the classroom are reinforced on the field, the courts, the rinks here on campus. Now, the Cy Fieldhouse, as I talked about earlier, this, as I began in the fall of 2020, they had just broken ground on it, and it just was completed this fall. Was the final, the final bow was tied on it. One of the things I really appreciated about it is that it houses our dining hall, but also a lot of our athletic facilities. And so the two things that bring people together most often on campus are sports and food. So one of the wonderful things about Lawrenceville is that we kind of look at arts as three different ways. We have performing, vocal, and visual. And so visual arts for us, a number of different mediums that we do with it, but visual arts, each art discipline has its own building here on campus. As I mentioned, our performing arts. So we do a musical and 2 plays every year. There are a number of different dance groups and troupes on campus, some with different levels of involvement, participation, and audition. So whether you're beginning that journey or you have begun that journey years ago, there's an opportunity for you to be involved. Just a couple of things, one of the things I think we do really well here at Lawrenceville is experiential learning. And so that's learning by doing, by getting out and actually taking part of the learning. So we have a stream here on campus. We have a ropes course, and we have a beehive if you're into getting stung. Not, I wouldn't, not me personally, but you can make your own honey right here on campus. And so I think it's what I'm jealous of, as I continually find myself jealous of the experiences our kids have, is that their learning is not contained just to a classroom. Another thing we do a lot is Harkness travel. So every year, faculty will sponsor a trip. For example, here they're in, it looks like South America. But, you'll learn a specific subject. For example, like you can study the classics in Roman ruins, right? So you're learning about something and you're actually there. You can taste it, you can smell it, it's like a sensory experience. And so I think it's a really great opportunity for our kids that are passionate about a particular subject area to, involve themselves or immerse themselves in something, much greater than a typical classroom experience. Right. And then community service, like I said, it really links back to our mission statement and something that we believe deeply in. So there's, number of different ways to be involved here, but we do have a community service requirement that we, that students need to complete before graduating. It's a very integral part of our Lawrenceville experience. Great. And you can see here some shots of different places that we've traveled over the years throughout our Harkness travel program. Really, really jealous and some scenic spots. Thank you so much for the evening here, and I think we've pretty much butted right up to time. But I just wanted to thank Steve, William, and Jamie. Jamie especially for, I'm sure, making me sound a lot more articulate in Korean than I do in English. So, well, thanks so much for everyone's time. I really appreciate it.